Hello, today I'm building in Moonwood Mill on a 40 by 30 lot. This is also for a shell challenge. It is a shell challenge hosted by Sash on Instagram and also on Twitch now. This is her Twitch celebration shell challenge because she just started streaming not too long ago. She just reached affiliate. So if you're interested in participating in the shell challenge, it's not due until like September 20th. I think that her tours are going to be around that time. So if you like the shape of this build, you could check out her Instagram for more details on like what pack she has. So if you want her to tour it on stream and stuff, you could like actually have the items in it and they won't be replaced by random EA stuff. But this build it's a 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom house for a witch. It also costs around 71,000 simoleons, so it's kind of pricey. It is a very like small build, and I did struggle with figuring out a floor plan for this build. I wanted to do like this cute little detail of using like these arched windows to make kind of like a sunroom sort of thing, and you'll see it later on in the video, but I ended up having to delete that because I had nowhere that I could place a kitchen because it is such an odd shape. I'm even surprised I managed to fit 2 bedrooms in here. It could have maybe have been three. I used one very small room to be like a cauldron office type space. I did play test it. The stuff did work. I did have some problems with like hanging plants on the walls, blocking my Sims from being able to walk through. So if you download this and like if for some reason a Sim can't get somewhere, it might be one of the like wall plants or something, because that was kind of the problem for me. But I feel like I changed out some of what I was like the problem before. But yeah, I was really just like trying to like play around with the shape of the build and try and like make it look as broken up as possible by picking out different wallpapers to define all of the like whimsical like hanging off bits is how I would describe it. And I loved the shape of the shell so much that it really has been inspiring me just in like all of my other builds. I had done a build on my Twitch stream like a few weeks ago now, probably, that I haven't posted on Instagram yet, but that was also kind of inspired by this because I loved this shape so much. I loved how the roof came out, and this is something that I wouldn't have really been able to like create myself. This is all Simly Sash because she was the one who like put all of these shapes together, and it like turns out to be one of my favorite like builds that I've done when it's like comes to the shape of it. And I'm like, wow, Sash really did that. But I was also experimenting with different like doors as like windows. And I know that I have like a fake balcony up there, but I also end up putting another door in the front because I liked how it looked and I felt like it added sort of like a whimsical touch to the build. And I was like, yeah, I could put a door there, why not? And I feel like I've done that again in like probably a build that I posted in the last couple of weeks. But this was like my first time like placing a door like that, and I really liked how it turned out. And so I was like, oh, like why haven't I ever used a doorway as a window? Like I feel like that's something I could easily get away with for my sort of building style. And she also had it so that there was raised terrain and a pond. I'm unsure what the rules were and if you were like allowed to change it. I really don't remember. I didn't change it just in case though. And I did have to change the front area a little bit. I had to add another set of stairs leading down because your Sims couldn't walk up that slope because as you can see, it's kind of a little too steep right by the end of the stairs. And normally I would just like smooth out the terrain, but I didn't know if that was allowed. And just to be safe, I was like, okay, I'm not going to smooth it out. I'm just going to like put some more stairs. And it like really didn't take away from the build at all. It like ended up working out like fine. But the landscape is one of my favorite things that I've done in probably a little while. This one is also the first time I was using the giant Realm of Magic rocks, which I also used recently. Yeah, they're right there. I used those in another build that I uploaded before this one. But that's because like I had started this one, but I didn't want to rush it because it is for a friend's shell challenge, and I didn't want to like not put in like my normal amount of effort. Like I didn't want to rush through it. So I gave myself like a little bit of a pause between, and I was like, okay, I'll work on other builds because I really don't want to just like throw something together for Sash. I want to like actually try and give her something nice to tour on her like Twitch streams. And it'll be her first time ever doing shell tours because she's very new to Twitch. She just started streaming like I don't even know now, like a month ago, over a month ago at this point, she started streaming, and now she streams like a lot of Dead by Daylight. I'm usually me and our friend Vicky are usually like squatting up with her in Dead by Daylight, and she also does Sims building streams. She loves horror and stuff, so if like that's your sort of thing, I definitely recommend her Twitch channel. I'll have all of her links in the description, but she's also a really great Sims builder. She's on Instagram. She makes these very like beautiful witchy cottages, and like she has like her style perfected like perfectly. It's like really inspiring. So if you haven't like seen her builds yet, I know that you would love them if you like my builds. Hers are like really, really beautiful. And this build, it's not like pack limited, but I did need to be careful of what packs I used because she had a list of the packs that she owns. And I did accidentally use a for rent window while I was building this. And then I had to go back in and change it out because she didn't have for rent. But then recently she said, oh, I'm going to buy for rent so you guys can use it. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to go back in and like switch the windows in, but I love the front windows anyway. I would have kept them if I had known, but I was like, that's fine. And then I'm sure I used some for rent on the interior, which I just finished this week. So this exterior I did like kind of a while ago. I think I started this when she built the shell on her stream, which like time doesn't exist. I don't know. I don't know how much time has passed by now, but like also there is a little bit of a surprise for Sash because I'm sure like she's going to look at like my pictures and stuff and maybe she'll watch this video to kind of see what I did. I did not put in the backyard area because I wanted to be a surprise, but I like left some stuff back there for her to discover when she tours the build. And I was like, oh, should I like record this? Should I not? And I completely forgot to even record me building it anyway. So it's like, okay, perfect. Like now I don't have to question this. But I did put some Easter eggs in here for her when she does tour it. I had said when I was starting this that I wanted to add like DBD style loop areas. And so I'm building like a little area that you would kind of like see in Dead by Daylight. This sort of fence also looks like one of the fences on one of the Dead by Daylight maps. And I was like, okay, perfect. And I was going to go in and try and find like debug items to make like a wooden pallet because like those there's like wooden pallets that you could like throw down to stop the killer and stuff, but I just like didn't have the patience to kind of look through and find anything. I did put some lockers over there and I was like, okay, perfect, I'm gonna hide a locker here. I think that part might be cut out too because I think that it was just like, I don't know, the footage was weird. So I was like, okay, let me just like, it's not that important, just know I put a little locker there so my favorite killer, the trickster, can go and reload on his knives. But yeah, I don't know if you like if anyone plays Dead by Daylight, but it's my new favorite game. Like I play Survivor with my friends a lot. I'm like a Feng Min main, and then I just started like playing Killer recently, maybe like a couple months ago. I don't even know. Again, I don't know. I don't know what time. I don't know what time passing, but I play as the trickster, as Killer, and he's like this K-pop guy, and he throws knives. It's like a lot of fun. I love that game so much, and so I had to make sure I put in some little things for Sash, just like when she tours it. I'm like, here's some of the DBD stuff that we've been playing a lot, because she's the one that got me into the game too, and it's become like my like peak interest in the last few months. I don't know when I started playing, but yeah, it's been like Sims building and then playing DBD. And that's like what I've been doing most of the time. But for the build now, I was making sure I didn't pick any windows that was from a pack that she didn't have because I already had messed up before. But yeah, this little archway area that I just placed those in, that is where I had to get rid of that, which is really sad because it looks so pretty on the exterior. And I was like, wow, that's kind of unique. And I was like, I don't think anyone's going to do something like that in her shell challenge. And it's like, yeah, no one's gonna do that because it like eats away at the floor plan, and then you can't put anything on that level. Because I tried, and like you'll see later, I was like trying to figure out where the hell to put the kitchen, and I just like couldn't figure out where it had to go, so I had to delete those and put the kitchen where the like sunroom would have been. But the color of the builds is like my usual ones. It's just a lot of like brown tones, and I used yellow flower accents for the ivy climbing up the walls. You just see like little pieces of white mushrooms around. There's some green moss and like the gray stone, and that's pretty much what it is. But I really love those Realm of Magic rocks. They feel like tree stumps to me. Like they don't come across as rocks when I first look at them. I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like windy branches of like a really old tree, and like this house is like sitting in the middle of all of these like old trees, which isn't the case. They are rocks, but like they really do look like just like whimsical, magical, witchy trees, especially if you layer in some of like the other trees that I had added. So it looks like leaves are kind of growing off of it. I really, really like those rocks a lot. And so I'll be using them pretty often, and I was just like making a little path. But yeah, I had to change that stairway because my fake stairs do not work because it's too steep. So I pretty much just have to get rid of that after, and I put in another set of stairs right underneath it. And it like doesn't really change it much. I mean, you would have had seen it at the start of the video in my little intro or even in the thumbnail. Um yeah, it was okay. And like again, I could have like tried to soften the terrain out, but I didn't know if that was cheating. I really don't know if there was any special rules for the shell challenge. If there were, then I cheated, which I already know that Sash won't care if I cheat anyway, so I did not look back to make sure what the rules were for, because I was like, Sash will not care because she kind of cheated in mine and Vicky's shell challenge, and I don't care about that either. But okay, this little area is where I was putting like a DBD hook type thing, but I was like, that's kind of like gory. I'm not gonna add that to my Sims build. So I added like a hanging plant there. That's like literally just for Sash anyways, because she would see that and she'd probably like understand what like that is in the game. Where I was like, okay, but then it looks like pretty too, because it's like all this like ivy like flowing up in this. I don't even know what that would technically be, that little fenced in area, if it's not like a looping thing, but it doesn't matter. It looks pretty, all the like flowers over there and stuff. But this is the interior now, and you'll see that I begin to realize that I won't be able to keep my little sunroom, which really served no purpose anyway, would have had nothing in it, but I just liked how it looked from the like outside of the build. But that ends up having to be the kitchen. And that's because also I didn't want the kitchen right off of the bathroom downstairs. And like maybe I don't know what my thought process, because if that was my thought process, I could have put the door off of the sunroom, but maybe I didn't want to do that, or maybe there still wasn't enough space for the build. And also, I had to use ladders to get up to the other floor because there was literally no space. And a lot of the times I try and not use ladders because I really like using stairs, but it just wasn't working. But yeah, now that I'm looking at this, 100%, I didn't want the kitchen over by the bathroom. And now it's hitting me that I could have put the bathroom door in the little sunroom area. But it's okay. I end up really loving how the kitchen turns out because like the little bay window area, um, it's like a sink area, and there's like sort of like a custom built shelf two on either side of the sink, and I feel like it looks really nice. So I'm not mad about it. I feel like the interior is better that I changed it, even though the exterior, like I felt like it looked a lot more special with those arched windows over there, but it's okay. Like no one looks at the back of the build anyway. And I don't know if you had noticed in my little intro video of the build, there was a piece of the wallpaper that was missing. I did fix it right after I recorded it, and I noticed it when I was recording it, but I was like, I don't care. I'm like, it'll stay in the video. It's fine. I'll just go in and fix it. And when I upload it to the gallery, it'll be like completely fine. Like I'm recording this on Sunday. Um, I upload on Mondays. If this build isn't on the gallery, it's because I forgot. A lot of the times I'll remember that day though, and so I'll make sure that it's uploaded to the gallery. And yeah, so then the area that I would have been the kitchen ends up being just like a little living room, which is very tiny. There's no TV in this build, I don't think. It's just like a fireplace, a couch, and some plants. And then that little area is a dining room. I'm pretty sure you can't use that third chair that's like in the like bay window type area. That I've learned that so many times that it's not functional. Also, that bed ends up having to move out a little bit because your Sims couldn't get there. Especially because I wanted to put like bookcases on either side of the bed. And so like I brought it out a little bit, and I feel like it looks really good, like how it turns out. I put like a console table behind it. So like I love the bedroom for this build. I also love the upstairs tower area as well. It ends up just being a single bedroom with like a little like reading area maybe. There's another fireplace. But yeah, this is the kitchen. You can see what I was talking about with the sink and the like custom shelving area. And I put a little rabbit there, which I'm pretty sure in like live mode it moves around. But for now, it's little sitting on the little sink, and I like that. Okay, and I put this milk here for Sash specifically. I feel like she'll she'll appreciate it. Um, yeah, it's just like a joke between us. So there's just some milk there for Sash when she tours it. And I would realize I was like, oh yeah, it'll be a surprise because like she'll be so surprised when she tours it and she sees all the milk cartons sitting there. But if she's watching it, then maybe she's just surprised right now, and maybe she's like, hell yeah, the milk. I don't know. I'm just like trying to imagine Sash sitting there watching. Yeah, I love the kitchen, and I really just was like trying to find clutter to put around without having to like put too much on those shelves because I didn't like how they kept snapping into everything, and I didn't want to have to move the like other shelf that I layered in with the other shelves. And because that's me being lazy, so I was going through and like picking out things that wouldn't snap, which was three cartons of milk and a little hand that managed to fit on the other side. I don't know if I put anything else there. But then I also have this area. I was trying to layer more shelves around, but I realized that the items on that shelf kind of like cut through it. And so I just did that. I don't think I put anything on that shelf, but I felt like I wanted it there just to make it seem like there was more storage and just like more intention behind that without having just like a blank space there. And I did add a trash can inside of the build, but I don't know if I put one outside, which is like a common thing I forget all the time, as well as like most little necessities in the builds I kind of neglect sometimes, especially the like fire alarms. Sometimes I forget mailboxes, and then the mailbox ends up being inside of the house. But this time I think it's just like the boring mailbox just like thrown somewhere on the lot because I had to use it to like change the weather and stuff anyway using a mod. Oh yeah, I know last week I was talking about how I wanted to create playlists for my builds based on like how many bedrooms they had. And so I did that a few days ago. I don't know when I did it, but now I have like playlists for, I think it's like one bedroom, and then I have one for like 2 to 3 bedrooms, and then I have it for like 4 to 5, and then like 6 plus. And I was like curious to see like how many of each I had. And like I had so many like single bedroom houses, and then I only had two like 6+ bedrooms. And like I thought I had a couple more than that, but turns out that I didn't. Even like some of the family homes, like I would like label stuff as family home and it has like 3 to 4 bedrooms, which it is a family home. So I guess it would have been like I would have been wrong if I would have called it like large family home when like I guess it really isn't. Um and I do want to do some more like larger um houses. It's just like it takes a lot, but I know that people really enjoy them and like people get a lot more use out of them, especially like my 1 bedroom builds. I know that people probably don't like aren't able to use them as much, and even if they do, like not for very long, unless they like really aren't family game players. But like for me when I'm playing The Sims, I always need to have at least a couple extra bedrooms because I do like having families in this game. And like I'll never have a 1 bedroom house. And even when I would download houses, I would not ever get like a 1 bedroom house. So I'm like, I don't know, it's just so easy and like natural for me to build like this tiny little house, and it's like a 1 bedroom or it's like a little loft. But I'm like, okay, I want to try and do more builds that have over 4 bedrooms. And it's like 4 feels like a medium size for The Sims. I would like to try and get more. I would like to create more 8 sim houses. And like while I was like editing this, I was like, I would love to build a very whimsical shaped build for like a huge family like that, like having like the height to the build, because my family homes it's really only like 2 floors, and then there's just some accent towers that really serve no purpose. But I would really love to try and have a build that is a lot taller and maybe like on a hill and like way more whimsical, um which would be way out of my comfort zone to try and make a whimsical build that is like huge like that. Because anytime I make something, it's very tiny, but I really want to try. And I don't know when I'll be doing that because I still have some stuff that I'm working on. I have my Copperdale save file that I really want to like work on because I have it planned out. Like I have like lists of like all the type of lots that I want and like ideas for families and stuff. And that's going to be a huge project. I doubt it's going to like um only take me the fall because last fall around Halloween I did like a special Glimmerbrook save file, and this Copperdale one was supposed to be that, but I was imagining that I was going to be like posting the videos in August, and it's already the end of August, so that's not going to happen. But at some point, yeah, like I have a lot of build ideas that I want to do, but I do really want to do the more family homes, and I want to do like a Dead by Daylight map inspired Sims build at some point. I just don't know what yet. But yeah, for this build though, I kind of was like talking over just me cluttering, which it's okay. You see, if you've watched my videos, you've seen most of these items before. I use pretty much a lot of the same stuff. Um, I was really trying not to eye drop things. Like normally when I'm building, I'll just like eye drop the same sorts of items in one room and add them into the other room. And that's like usually what I do for like every room. But this one I didn't want to eye drop because I had my pack restrictions, and I already had placed this in my building file. And so I couldn't disable the packs without like having to change a bunch of stuff. So it was like I decided to make it harder for myself. Instead of just placing this in a new save, I was like really just making sure I didn't accidentally use any packs that weren't allowed. Or well, it's not that they're not allowed, it's just that Sash doesn't own all of the packs, and so the items would either get deleted or get replaced. And I was like, this should be fine. I'll like be able to get it and it'll be okay. But yeah, this is the bathroom, and I put this little quill here at a book because I was imagining, I was like, they're like in the bathtub and they're writing. But I know that Sash is gonna look at that and be like, they're on the dumper and they're like using their little quill. And so while I was like editing, I was like, I know that's what she thinks the purpose of that is gonna be. Which I mean, yeah, they could sit on the toilet and use the quill as well. It just feels like a very strange thing, like not writing on the toilet, but specifically using like a fancy like writing tool like that for some reason is like, I don't know, it's so funny for me to think about. It ends up being a nice cozy bathroom though, and you can see I used the same wallpaper throughout the entire build. And I remember last week in my like hour long video, I was like, I was making sure that I didn't use the same wallpaper throughout because I usually do that. And it's like this one I did, but that like I like the interior of this build like so much because before I like uploaded it, I kind of like went through like I was like, okay, I'm Simly Sash and I'm looking through the build as if it's like my first time seeing it. And I was like, yeah, I love the the wallpaper with that flooring. It just like it brings more attention to the items in the build and like the pops of color, which it's like if everything's like all brown, like I don't know, the reds and greens just like stand out a lot and it feels very natural, very homey to me. But yeah, this is the office which I did play test. I had to move the desk in a little bit, which you could see like I had like paused and I had like made sure that the sim could get to this area. And however, there is like a hanging plant that I end up adding to this room, which might make it the cauldron not functional. So that's like a warning because there was a plant in the hallway which made it like non-functional and like your sim couldn't walk past it for some reason, which seemed strange to me because I was like, why would this be a thing? But yeah, I love this bedroom. I put the console table behind to make it seem like that's just part of the bed because I had to have the bed sticking out a little bit for your Sims to be able to use it. And I layered in that like ivy item over the book so it looks like the plants are hanging over the books. I'm sure that that probably makes the bookcases not functional, which was like bookcases not being functional isn't like an important detail for me. But if it is for you, then just like go ahead and delete those two items if it like prevents your Sims from being able to use it. But I didn't playtest the bed again after I placed those in. I don't think that it would cause an issue, but sometimes the Sims likes to have an issue that you don't think is going to be the problem, and it is the problem. And then I had made the lighting just a little bit yellow, and it made me like the room even more. And mostly in this build, I was just like adding pops of green around because I thought that that would be the best way to add in some wall like decor without having to like go through like the painting section because like looking through the paintings in this game, it just feels repetitive. I use the same ones over and over again. And so it's like, oh, I don't really want to do that. And I know that I do use the same like wall like sculptures, I guess they're called in the game, and like plants and stuff. And like that doesn't feel as repetitive to me. Um because that those sorts of things I feel like adds like a theme to the build and it like makes it look like I don't know, like the outside is inside where like if I'm looking at the same painting over and over again, it's like too much. And like I don't like using the same painting in like multiple areas of the house. Sometimes it ends up happening, but like yeah, I just like I wish that like the wall art was a little bit easier to go through and also that we had more of a variety which like I know like if you like see me scrolling through it looks like a lot but it really isn't because like I don't know like maybe I use like 10 different ones, which really isn't much, especially if you're doing gallery walls in your builds. But yeah, this is the second bedroom where I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this a bedroom. I could have made it like a library or something, but I was like, you have so many one bedroom houses. So you're gonna make this a two-bedroom house, and that's just what's going to happen. And I was like, you could make it three if that tiny little room is a bedroom. I was like, no, no, no. Now I'm pushing it. That just ends up be having like a rocking chair in it. and a fireplace. And that's all that's in that little area. But I felt like it was nice. Just don't open the door because the door leads right out to the roof and there is nothing else there. So just make sure the door remains locked. I doubt a sim would even try and open the door, but yeah. And so it's just like a little reading area by the fire. And I do end up coming back into this like bedroom like while I was taking screenshots, and I added like a couple of shelves underneath the stained glass window with like a couple pieces of clutter because it felt very empty, and I was like, I feel like I could add more to that, so I just did like a shelf with like a few items on top. You'll see it at the end because I took a picture of it, what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm using my little mushroom stool again, which I said that I wanted to start using in interiors more often. And it's like next to this cute little mushroom like potted plant, which is from Growing Together. I remember someone commented asking where that was from, and I had to like Google it. But yeah, Growing Together, that's like one of my favorite items in that expansion pack, as well as like the cute like there's like a toy box that I really like too from that one too. And like for this like bedroom area, I was going to try and like wall it off and have like an archway with curtains, but I like removed it from the video completely because I realized I liked this layout better because I was able to have that like mushroom stuff together. And so I was like, okay, I'm not making another little like bed nook, which I had done in like Anna Sim's build shell challenge. That's like kind of what I wanted to do again, was have a bed hidden behind curtains with like a bunch of books. But I was like, no, like I like this original idea, so that's what I'm gonna kind of keep with. But this is the screenshots now. It feels so much more cluttered when I was taking pictures than it kind of looked when I was editing the video. And I really liked that. I think it is because I use just like a lot of different greenery around. It makes the place feel a lot more full. And I think the bedroom is coming up. Yes, yeah, I just put a shelf with like a few little items. It wasn't too much, but I feel like it needed something because it was a little bit empty. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm not sure what next week's video is going to be, but yeah, thank you so much. Bye.